except for the Jews that are anti-Zionist. Many of them are in this community. They call them anti-Semitic and call them terrorists. But that's besides the point. They're doing this for, they're doing this for.
Bro, this is like multi-layered and extremely complicated, and I'm kind of scared.
It's actually not. It's very black and white when you think about it. But like, obviously, I'm trying to give you as
confused.
I'm trying to give you as much information as possible on the back end so that you at least are
So
a little
Kanye was wrong then?
Kanye is still wrong, yes. He
Okay.
loves Hitler, he said. That's fucking insane.
He said that?
Yeah, he did. He said he loves Adolf Hitler, straight up. So
Why would he say that?
because he was in the throes of like a fucking manic he's bipolar, bro. He's
I bet you.
what?
I bet you. Kanye takes a lot of amphetamines and it burned his brain out.
Probably. If I explain to this man Israelis come extraction brigade, his mind will explode. Israel has a unit.
What did you just say?
Israel has a unit that harvests the sperm of the soldiers in case of their untimely demise. This is called the Goon Platoon. That's what I like to call them.
Dude, what is
That's
going
right.
on?
It seems weird, right? This is what happens when you, much like the Nazis, in an identical capacity, have this insane religious and ethnic superiority complex and want to build an ethno-state. This is the type of weird shit that you engage in. It's called eugenics.
I know about that. Wait, so what about their sperm? They take the sperm from the sac when they die?
She thinks it's just another rocket attack.
I repeat, this is not a joke. This is the Israeli state itself posted this video.
But a gripping fear prickles through Shiley's entire body, and it's outside their bedroom window. Her husband, Yahav, fights the danger as Shiley runs, leaving everything behind to protect their baby, Shaya. She hides from the terrorist hunting her for 27 hours, terrified, praying that the love of her life will survive. She clings to hope that she won't need to raise their newborn alone. 4 days later, her heart shatters. She hugs Shaya tightly and knows she must fulfill Yahav's dream to create more life. So, Shiley puts out a call for the unthinkable, to retrieve his seed and be able to continue growing their family. She's in her own war against time, and the crowd leaps into action to complete her desperate mission. But it's too late. Shiley did everything she could to save her family. We still have time to save ours.
Yeah. So
I don't understand.
home extraction. They shove a cattle prod up the butt of the deceased, or I guess they take it directly from the ball sack if they have the opportunity to do so. They have limited time.
Of like a dead soldier?
Yeah.
So
Don't ask me why they don't just nut in a fucking cup beforehand. I don't know why they don't just do that. I feel like that's a way more efficient process if you really, really, really need to ensure that you're
and Israel put this on the internet?
Yeah.
And they thought this was okay?
Yeah, and they did it in English. When Israel does propaganda in English, know that it's actually intended for the American and the Western audience.
Why would this make them look good?
They're insane, dog. That's it.
Okay.
It's the same shit as Nazis. Like, they were insane and they did a lot of insane shit. And when you look at it in hindsight, you're like, why the fuck did they think this was appropriate? I don't know. Like, Hitler literally was like looking to find, I don't know, Santa Claus or some shit. Why was he doing that? You know? They were trying to do like excavations to find like mythical swords that would help them. Why? Because they're insane.
Oh my God. And they have power and they're crazy.
Yeah. That's why I always explain it as like, imagine if like, in a parallel universe, like what would have happened if America went to war alongside the Nazis instead of against the Nazis? Well, you don't need to imagine what it would look like. This is happening right now. Now, of course, if you are to ever use that comparison or that analogy, people will call you out and they will say you're anti-Semitic. So if you don't have all this information.
What anti-Semitic means what exactly?
It means you hate Jews.
But you just said it wasn't about the Jews.
It doesn't matter. Most people still will, out in the wild, most people still operate on the boundaries of like, oh no, Israel's the Jewish state. Of course, they're doing this for the Jews and all Jews actually care about Israel, yada, yada, yada. That's not the case, but that's how propaganda works. A lot of people still think that this is like the way it works. So for that reason, I'm just letting you know they will call you anti-Semitic. You shouldn't fucking say a lot of the things I'm saying.
Keep in mind.
Unless you know all of the
I'm not
information
going
to be
repeat
able to
what you're
back up.
saying because I'm so fucking confused because I don't know what's going on. But number two, I don't really give a fuck of what people say about me in general because I just don't care. Like, listen, I do things that you probably don't like.
Yeah.
Like we took that fucking Saudi deal.
You did?
Oh yeah, me and XUC both.
Oh, no. Damn.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we did. I'm sorry. I needed the money.
Oh, you want to see a Houthi musical?
Sure.
These were the people that the Saudis were killing, by the way. Just so you know, these fucking musically gifted individuals.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I need the money, guys.
I'm gonna grab my food.
I'm so confused. What is this?
اسأل أصحاب الفخامة والمعالي واسألوا عن الحشود العسكري يوم سيطرنا على الخوبة بآلي ما نبالي بالهمر والمدفعية
What is going on? Can you explain this? This is a 3-minute video of. What do you mean a music video? When you said music video, I'm expecting like bad example, Chris Brown dancing. You know.
No. They do like
What is
they do
this?
musicals. They're very musical people.
Are
No,
you are you being serious?
Dog, what do you look? You think I made this?
This isn't music. I know they're singing, but I'm seeing just guns and shit. This isn't a music video, Hasan.
No, it is. They do musicals about like their fucking like their actions all the time. And they love walking over. They love walking over like the American flag and the Israeli flag side by side. They will always like march on it. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet.
واقتحمنا الدود في ساعة انقلالي ومسكنا الحد مسكح حيدرية ما نبالي بالصواريخ خلف
He's
ثقالي
saying they do not care about the heavy missiles. Like they
Yeah.
will literally take the war to them no matter what. It's an act of for them it's an act of resistance. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Oh my God. Oh man. You know what? I also took a McDonald's sponsor and I drink Starbucks. I'm sorry. Don't hate me.
Good job.
I'm sorry, Hasan.
Are you proud of yourself?
I scabbed too.
What? Okay, stop.
I'm sorry, Hasan.
Stop.
And I like feet. But I'm a nice guy though.
That's the least consequential part of this. You liking feet is the most normal thing that you've said so far.
Oh no. Chat, I'm sorry, guys.
You're not sorry.
I'm
I
not.
don't give a shit.
You want? Wait,
But you're more knowledgeable now. You are now equipped with the knowledge that this is
Can I be
wrong.
honest for a second?
What?
I'm afraid of having to get a 9 to 5. I gotta make as much money as I can. I won't exist in the 9 to 5 world. I get canceled or like, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I apologize, guys. I'm
Nick,
sorry.
Israel defends themselves by saying and making Americans repeat that if you hate Israel, you're anti-Semitic, which is to scare anti-Israel people like you and me, not to say anything bad about Israel under the veil, that if you hate Israel, you hate the Jews.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Well, it takes a lot of effort to hate though,
I agree.
Yeah. Man, there's
There's some people it comes easy, though,
really?
Yeah. Some countries make it easy, to be honest.
I'm just so busy that like I don't really have time to be like
Yeah, too busy fucking getting McDonald's sponsorships.
yeah.
Oh, God, we haven't even talked about the rape riots yet.
Pardon? The what?
So, Israel has a concentration camp called Sde Taiman.
Yes, you
they're
told me about it.
they're mass apprehending Palestinians and putting them there and then, like, releasing them back into Gaza after 2 weeks of, like, torturing them. We find out in those concentration camps that they're raping them. Some of them are getting raped to death. They're literally raping them with, like, electric pods and batons and raping them to death. And these are innocent people. These are innocent Palestinians, but they're calling them terrorists. Everyone, if you call someone a terrorist, you can do whatever the fuck you want to them in the eyes of Israel, right? So what ends up happening is, because there was an ICC court case on Israel for war crimes, basically, there is a principle called complementarity. What complementarity means is that if the countries democratic Western-backed nation, they have their own internal processes where they look through the war crimes and they actually prosecute them. So no other outside group has to prosecute for them, right? That's why, like, remember what we did with the fucking aid ship or the aid port that never worked? Like, it's the similar principle of like, oh well, we're prosecuting ourselves. Don't prosecute us, please.
Right.
You know, we're investigating ourselves. We're a nation of laws. That's what Israel says. So, basically, the Israeli government takes 9 of these concentration camp guards and says, you guys are the head rapists. You've done too many rapes. You've killed too many people by raping them. We have to prosecute you.
Was it 9 random guards?
I don't think it was 9 random guards. I think they were like literally on camera doing the raping. There was footage of it. So
why was it recorded? That's crazy.
there's cameras everywhere. It's a concentration camp. So basically, what ends up happening?
Wait, did you see the footage?
I saw some parts of the.
Was it blurred out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, they have to do an internal investigation. Otherwise, they're going to be like. Otherwise, people can be like, "Well, you're not even investigating this shit. The fuck? Boom! Another war crime on the docket, right?" So Israel arrests these 9 guys. They detain them.
Mm-hmm.
But the Israeli society gets very mad. They're like, "How dare you detain these guys?" Israel, the Knesset, which is the like their parliament, right? That's called Knesset, is actually out on holiday, right? Summer holiday. They hold an emergency meeting, specifically on the fate of these 9 detained concentration camp guards. Now I'll show you. I think this is. Does chat have the parliament meeting? Do you have a clip from the parliamentary meeting, chat? If you can link it to me, I want to show him what the person said.
Can I grab a drink?
Yeah. What do you want? Can you give me a Diet Coke as well?
Yes.
Did Nick volunteer to learn this stuff on his own? He did. He just came in and
I might.
Thank you.
Chad, I might not know a lot about this stuff, but don't get it wrong. Like, this stuff fascinates me, and I love to learn about it. Like, I'm really I like World War II, and I'm like a big fan of serial killers. That was probably not the best phrase of that, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's you know, Israel is behaving like a World War II villain and also behaving like serial killers. Here is the meeting.
Okay.
In the Knesset.
Yep.
Okay. Where one of the parliamentary officials from the Ta'al party, minister of the Knesset, Ahmad Tibi, says to insert a stick in a person's rectum, is that legitimate? Here is how the person, the Knesset member from Benjamin Netanyahu, remember him?
Yeah, the guy in charge.
From his party, here's how he retaliates.
אבל יש אירוע כרגע בשדה תימן שמשטרה צבאית הגיעו לעצור חיילים ששמרו על מחבלי נוח'בה. והחיילים בשדה תימן, מתקן מעצר של מחבלי נוח'בה, ומשטרה צבאית שם הגיעה לעצור כמה לוחמים שם שכנראה בגלל איזה שהם טענות של יחס למחבלי נוח'בה, ויש שם אירוע של התבצרות וכולי. הטרלול שהמדינה שלנו נכנסת אליו סביב הסיפור הזה הוא מטורף וצריך להפסיק אותו, ואני חושב שצריך פה לתת דוגמה אישית, ואני אומר עכשיו, ואני קורא לחברי הקואליציה לעשות כמוני, אני קם ואני יוצא מפה, ואני לא הולך להצביע יותר על שום דבר, עד שהסיפור הזה והטרלול הזה, שיש מי שבפרקליטות חושב שאפשר לבוא ולעצור חיילים על דברים שעושים למחבלי נוח'בה, לא...
This man is saying he's outraged. He's outraged. Why is he outraged? Not because it came out that his soldiers are raping Palestinian prisoners to death. He's outraged that those people are being prosecuted and detained.
Yeah.
But it doesn't end
נגמר.
there.
אוקיי? ואני מאוד מבקש, ואני חושב שחבריי בקואליציה טוב יעשו אם יעשו כמוני. אנחנו לא יכולים להמשיך כרגיל.
להכניס מקל לרקטום של בן אדם, זה לגיטימי?
כן, אם הוא נוח'בה, הכל לגיטימי לעשות לו. הכל.
He goes, yes, it's legitimate. You can do anything you want to them. Okay? So he's a pro-rape advocate,
You said
but
they weren't even terrorists, they're just people.
Yeah, they're just regular old people, but they call them terrorists. They call them Nukba, which is like the elite group of terrorists,
Hasan,
right?
This is insane.
Yeah, of course it's insane. I know. And you know what's really interesting? I don't fault you for not knowing anything about this because the American media did not even cover it because what happens after this is even more insane. It got crazier. So they detained the 9 guys.
Yeah.
Do you remember January 6th? Where some of our bravest patriots stormed the halls of Congress?
Like fucking Squeaks and Cinna. Yeah, I remember.
Okay. Israel has its own January 6th moment where they storm the detention center and the facility where the 9 guards are being detained with guns. They go in and they're like, you are going to release these rapists. It is a pro-rape riot. The pro-rape riot is attended by members of the Israeli Knesset. It's all over the news. They're like, no, we want this to happen. We want them to keep doing the rapes. There is like a rabbi that comes out and is like, it's legitimate, like to do that.
Okay.
So
Wait, can I ask you a question?
what?
And this might sound stupid,
Okay.
but why do they have to rape?
I don't know.
Why do they have to rape? I don't understand.
It's ritualistic and systematized humiliation of the enemy. That's what it is. The enemy is not human. They are less than human. They are subhuman, and they are a scourge, and that they must be dealt with in incredibly violent means. Rape is a deterrent in this circumstance.
That's insane.
Yeah, I know it's insane, bro. That's what happens. That's why I'm saying it's fucking fascist. This is Nazi shit. That's why I will always say it. Like, this is some Nazi shit. Anyway.
I can tell you most of my friends don't even know that this is going on.
Of course they don't. Even people who are like knowledgeable on the matter, who like pay attention to this stuff, if they're only getting their fucking resources from CNN, will never know this shit because CNN doesn't cover it. Because if they covered it, oh my God, Americans would be like, what the fuck do you mean they did a pro-rape riot?
You know what's funny? You're the streamer I watch the most.
Yeah.
But when I realize that when you're on my monitor,
Yeah.
I'm not actually listening to a word you say. I'm just looking at you talking. I listen to you all the time. I watch you almost every day.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm not even listening to what you're saying or comprehending it.
That's not good.
I just like the way that you're like moving around and shit. Because this is all new to me. This is like the first time I'm locked in and I'm paying attention.
Okay. Well, I hope this is instructive and informative.
I'm not
for
going
you.
to lie. I'm fucking scared.
I mean, yeah, makes sense.
This is horrifying. Like the things you're telling me is straight up fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
You know, I thought ERP was bad.
So, yeah. So here's the pro-rape riot. There are lawmakers in the riot. They attacked the base in protest of the Israeli military police, detaining 9 soldiers suspected of sexually assaulting a prisoner.
And who are these people here? Exactly.
These are just like Israeli society members.
It's like citizens.
Members of the parliament, like the Israeli Knesset. Lawmakers are leading
like Congress?
the charge. It's like fucking if January 6th was being done by, like prominent members of the Republican Party, which it was, but like not really prominent members of the Republican Party, but if they were like actively leading the charge. Like Derek Evans, who made it into the Capitol only to have his political career cut short by that mistake.
This is all insane, man.
So
there's so much more to life than like, why is everyone fighting? Can't we just
hold
hold
on.
Yeah.
The pro-rape riots succeed.
They break them out?
They break them out. But it doesn't end there. Not only do they break them out.
They don't go back to raping, do they?
Here we go. Here we have.
Yeah.
Mayor Ben Shitrit.
Yeah.
The prominent rapist, okay? The number 1 rapist. Why do we know who he is? That's because he puts a balaclava on his head, okay? Like a mask to hide his identity.
Right.
And goes on national television to defend his rape. He's like, well, I have every right to do this. They deserve it. He's the top rapist, right? At the heart of this entire story. Then he unmasks himself voluntarily. And then Israeli national television turns him into a TV a TV star. Now, Maya force fighter Mayor Ben Shitrich, who was investigated on suspicion of rape no less, is coming tonight to open everything about the Sideh Yemen affair or Sideh Teiman affair.
מאיר בן שטרית שהתמודד עם הנוח'בות בשדה תימן ועכשיו מתמודד עם האשמות קשות וכולנו רוצים לשמוע מה יש לו להגיד וגם יהיה... תגיד לי, למה אתה עומד ככה?
He looks like a serial killer.
Yeah.
Is that him again?
Yeah, the top Israeli rabbi blessed the soldier accused of the rape, by the way.
Wait a minute. Why do people keep saying accused? Wasn't it just defend?
Well, they're using you know, they have to say allegation because the court process never went through.
Well, I mean, okay.
Yeah, here is in June 2023, while in reserve duty in the West Bank, why can't we go into the Negev with machine guns? Why can't we go in with mag machine guns? Why can't we go in with the holding force of a grenade launcher such as the place of a terrorist? 2 days ago, all these terrorists were standing there, 150 to 200 armed terrorists. Why don't we get 3 to 4 attack helicopters up in the sky and spray everyone? He posted this. He also posted, you know, his defense or in many instances talked about like what he was doing. Here's Ben Shitrich, who is settlement adjacent to Hebron. He's a settler too. There's a different designation for like the most insane aspects of Israeli society because like you have people living in like Tel Aviv and Israel proper, okay? And then you have people living in the West Bank. The people living in the West Bank are the most insane because they are the most loyal soldiers of Zionism. They're like, they're basically the most insane. They're like, no, we have to live here so that we can take over this land and eventually. And the Israeli government has basically allowed them to do that and have actually urged them to do that, right? Here's a really famous, prominent example. This man right here, Jacob, from, I believe, Brooklyn or Long Island, is a fantastic example of how the settler process works. This is in East Jerusalem, which is occupied by Israel, but there are a lot of historic Palestinian homes there. This is one of those historic Palestinian homes. Jacob flew in from Long Island to come to East Jerusalem and basically took over someone's house, literally.
You are stealing my house.
And if I don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it.
No one is allowed to steal it, يا عمي.
This guy?
Yeah.
This guy definitely has a Reddit account.
Oh, yeah.
Yaakov, you know this is not your house.
Yes, but if I go, you don't go back. So what's the problem? Why are you yelling at me? I didn't do this.
But
It's easy to yell at me, but I didn't do this.
You are stealing my house.
So he just came from America to steal someone's house?
Yeah. They do it all the time.
I mean, did he get the house?
I think they did. I think he did, yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah, they've been doing this nonstop.
So they take somebody else's house?
Yeah. Yeah, and the military comes in and kicks them out.
Wait, kicks out the owners of the house?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. This is depressing as hell.
If you were to, like, for example, sometimes in the media they'll be like, an anti-Semitic incident occurred in a fucking Jewish community center the other week, where anti-Semitic protesters attacked Jewish people that were quietly congregating. And then you look into it, and you look into the fucking incident, and it turns out it's actually an auction. An auction for what, you might ask? An auction for houses. Houses where? Houses in the West Bank that Palestinians are occupying. In the United States of America, we have auctions for real estate of homes that do not belong to the people that are selling them. And when people go and protest those auctions, the American media says anti-Semitism.
Oh my God. It's all just fried, dude. How do you like read this stuff all day and like not like cry yourself to sleep at night? This is fucking horrible.
I'm motivated by the change that I'm motivated by the change that I might actually create in this world by educating one extra person, whether it's you or thousands of others that watch, that learn what the truth actually is, and change their minds, and then go out and protest, go out and spread the truth to other people. That's why I do it. And I've been doing this for, especially this, like this is an issue that I've spoken about for years at this point, 10 fucking years professionally in public life, I've spoken out against Israel's actions because like a lot of people only became more knowledgeable of like the stuff that Israel was doing after October 7, right?
Oh,
But this has been ongoing. This video is from fucking 3 years ago.
by the way, I'm an example of this because
Yeah.
I always thought Israel were the homies.
Yeah.
That's kind of how there was Peyton as me as an average guy from Michigan who just went to college.
Yeah.
So that's the picture
So-
that was kind of painted to me growing up.
So, as someone who's been doing this for years and years and years, I never thought that there would be this much outward support for Palestinians. Because 5-6 years ago, when I said stuff like this, people would be like, "You're anti-Semitic. You're the most anti-Semitic person I've ever seen. Fuck you."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can I have a random question?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about this.
What is it?
Since we're again, this has nothing to do with what was the deal with like the Jewish people in the sewers in New York? Is it like this? Is it all correlated, or is that just something
No.
different?
No.
Okay, it's
That is
different.
so
Like remember that
remember
mattress
when I
with the
told
blood
you
on it? Like what
remember
was
remember when I told you like there's like different sects of Judaism? There's
Okay.
like
that? I'm not trying to be
Like,
racist.
are you
but they all-
Christian?
what?
You're Christian, right?
What?
You're technically Christian, right?
Okay,
Would you say you're Christian? No, like you're
I'm whatever gets me the least amount of hate.
okay. There's a reason why I'm asking you this question.
Yeah,
your
we're both
mom's
Christian.
Christian. You
Yeah.
grew up Christian, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So every other religion is exactly like that. It's like a
Yeah.
broad range of people who like are not really committed believers, all the way to like the most committed fundamentalists, like as we call them. So under Judaism, there's a concept called like Orthodox Jews. This was
With the hats
yes.
and the
Now
and the twirly hair.
Orthodox Jews, yeah, but Orthodox Jews also have like different sects inside of Orthodox Judaism. Like you have the Neturei Karta that is actually committed anti-Zionist, but they still wear the hats. And then
Okay.
you have other kinds of like Haredi or ultra Orthodox populations in America and in Israel as well that are really, really involved in the settlement part. Okay. Yaakov probably is an Orthodox Jew, it seems. So,
And they have to go in the sewers.
no.
Okay.
The sewers was one specific sect of like very religious Jews
Right.
that simply wanted to expand underneath the Chabad. Like they just literally wanted to. I think the ultimate goal was like to connect like two different buildings
Okay.
that they own.
Look at this guy.
What's up, dude? You look hot.
Yeah. You look good. You look great, man. Yeah, it makes me excited seeing you walk in.
No, basically
I
they
need
just
this
wanted
right
to
now.
expand. They wanted to expand from one building and connect it to
Did
the
they
other.
ever explain the mattress with the blood on it?
I don't think so, but it's just a dirty mattress, bro. Come on.
Yeah, but in a basement.
It could be anything. Like I don't.
Okay, but if it's Ted Bundy's basement or
I know,
Jeffrey
but it's
Dahmer's,
like-
you know what
but
happened.
they're not.
Okay.
I don't think they were like doing.
I'm just again. I watched a lot of serial killer stuff. The mattress was sus and it scared me. So I will never be going to the sewers in New York after seeing
Yeah,
that.
it was literally. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know what the fucking mattress was about, but it's like a shit stained mattress is like one of the most common things you can find in the New York sewers.
Okay, I've never been there. I don't know what was going on there, but I'm not going to go down there. That's not meant for me.
Okay.
I want to be above ground.
But it was ultimately a building dispute that was supposed to be internally dealt with.
Yeah.
As in, what's up? Okay, well, all right. Well, I don't know. I can't talk about that right now.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of explaining very important subjects to our friend here who's learning about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict from the perspective of like not knowing anything.
Awesome. I'm not gonna lie, this is fucking me up. This is fucking horrible, dude.
Yeah.
This
What's
is
gonna fuck you
horrible.
up is the top of the hour ad break coming for you. By the way, chat. As long as you, as long as you're not subscribed, you will see a 3-minute ad break right now, which is gonna fuck you up even further. So if you're strapped up and buckled in and enjoying the show, subscribe.
Oh man, dude. I don't want to be that guy, Hasan, because I've listened to everything you say. And I'm not trying to, ruffle any feathers, but there's always two sides of the story. How close to the truth are you? Like, be honest.
Am I giving you information that is from reliable news sources? Or
I don't know. I'm so stupid. I don't know.
Okay. Fair question.
Like, would an unbiased person disagree with what you're saying?
A person that understands the truth would not, but
Okay.
as you also correctly said about your own personal background,
Yeah.
to put it simply,
Yeah.
Israel is our homies. And that's the way that you thought about the situation until this very moment, right?
Well, until I talked to Caroline, but yeah.
Yeah, but Israel is our homies. So ultimately, I guess the question
I'm unbiased,
is,
so like, if you,
I guess
you
the
show me
question to
this,
ask you is
What do you
this,
think,
right? Like, was there two sides to slavery?
I don't know. But
No, there were people that were defending slavery. That were making it seem like, no, this is totally sick. That's the entire purpose of racism to begin with. White supremacy was a justification to continue the enslavement and capture and trade of like African men and women.
well, I'm here because of that.
Okay, but that's not both sides of the fucking. Like, there's always going to be people who try and rationalize horrifying actions. That does not.
Oh,
mean
I'm not
that those-
rationalizing. I'm just saying, like,
What
I'm against it, but at the
what
same time,
what
like,
I need individuals like yourself to do
yeah,
is to look at this information and go, even if this is untrue, seek it out and corroborate.
yeah.
Look at trusted resources and exercise some critical thinking. Make up
Yeah.
your own mind. You know?
I don't. Okay, you want to hear a bad take?
But, oh God, here we go.
I think some people, myself included, are like too stupid to think. I'm just not smart enough to figure it out myself. Especially something like this. I'm just not. I can do tech with computers and I can do all this sort of stuff, and
I disagree.
this shit's all above my pay grade, man.
I mean, but I disagree. You literally have made up your mind already. with this
Because
information.
you hand fed it to me.
I know, but that's my job.
How many people have access, like direct access to someone like you? Not many.
Well, that's my goal. That's why I want to reach out and hope that people will be as charitable as you are.
Yeah, but he's answering like all my questions, chat. Like everything I can type in chat, right?
But here's the thing.
You won't be able to get this sort of one-on-one.
No,
like,
but
you know?
that's what I try to do, and that's
Yeah.
the problem because
I see you get
there
stun
are
locked and you fight people.
a lot
but
of people
yeah.
like you,
Yeah.
but then a lot of other people with nefarious purpose
Yeah.
make it seem like they're asking genuine questions
Oh.
in an effort to fucking lock my shit up and get me stun locked and have me respond
you
to
do
them.
stun locked though.
I do.
Yeah.
But that's the reason why I do respond to most people. People always say, Hasan, why are you fucking repeat yourself all the goddamn time? It's because it's instructive for many people who are just tuning in, who haven't been paying attention. I've answered all the questions I answered for you
Yeah.
a million times over
Oh.
for many chatters over the course of the past 12 months. And I will forever continue
You know what?
answering these questions
Maybe it's-
because
yeah.
I want to educate people. So that's one.
Maybe it's the willingness to want to learn.
Yes,
That's the key.
exactly. Charitability is the key here.
Yeah.
But because of what you just said, if
Yeah.
more people have access to a person like you, if they listen to you, then that's scary. That's scary for a lot of people. That's why instead of addressing the things that I'm saying, most people on the opposite side,
Yeah.
for one reason or another, don't actually tackle the arguments that I'm ever making. They try to hit me directly and say, he's a rich socialist and a hypocrite. Don't listen to him. And a lot of people, just like you admitted, are too stupid to be like, wait a minute, maybe they're just saying that because he's saying a bunch of stuff that they disagree with. But they're too stupid to fucking recognize that is precisely what's happening. So instead of tackling the argument, they try to attack the person making the argument. It's a much more effective way of like having this broad-reaching counter propaganda initiative.
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
Someone in the chat said something that I agree with as well.
What?
Most people are not stupid; they're just subdued.
I really?
Yes, bro. Most people are intellectually curious. The issue is, a lot of the outlets, like a lot of the trusted resources on stuff like this, that is clear cut in stone, that directly aligns with like the American State Department interests, are going to lead you astray. That's the problem. So I usually don't fault every single person. As long as they are genuinely curious, as long as they are charitable and are willing to learn, I will always fucking sit there and I will talk about this endlessly, as I have done with you.
Got it.
this is Amnesty International. It's a non-governmental organization. It's a human rights group. Okay, they did a video a while back after declaring Israel to be an apartheid regime in the month of April in 2021.
This was before.
This was way before October. Yeah. Because Israel has been in apartheid for a very long time. Do you know what an apartheid is?
Nelson Mandela.
Good start. Let's watch this Amnesty International video now.
Okay.
Probably the disturbing images of racial segregation between whites and blacks in South Africa, where a regime ruled by a racist white minority declared themselves officially superior to the black majority, then proceeded to dominate them. South Africa's apartheid system officially ended in the mid-1990s, but that doesn't mean apartheid can't happen elsewhere. Here, in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, Palestinians are being forced off their land and out of their homes, separated and segregated by laws, walls, and checkpoints. They live in a constant state of fear and insecurity and deliberately impoverished. While, on the other hand, Israeli authorities have given the Jewish Israeli population privilege over Palestinians in just about every facet of life. The question is, does this all amount to the crime of apartheid? First, the definition of apartheid. The crime against humanity of apartheid is perpetrated when particular serious human rights violations are committed with the purpose of establishing and maintaining a system of domination by one racial group over another and systematically oppressing them. But does this system exist in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories?
And there's been a growing debate about whether the situation in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories is apartheid. And now is the time for us, as the world's largest human rights organization, to offer up our analysis. Our findings and criticism are directed not at the Jewish people, but at the Israeli state. It's the Israeli state that put in place the policies that implement the laws and the practices that oppress Palestinians.
Well, Israeli leaders have been clear about their intentions from the beginning. In 1948, just before he became the first Prime Minister of Israel, Ben-Gurion visited Lifta and other Palestinian areas near Jerusalem that were completely emptied of Palestinian residents following attacks by Jewish forces.
I do want to mention something here because, this is, you're right, a one-sided conversation from a trusted third party. Having said that, there are a litany of misinformation and cherry-picked points throughout history and genuine suppression of the truth in terms of historic data that defenders of Israel has engaged in the Western world especially, and in Israel as well, for a very long time. This is precisely the reason why a lot of people that are educated on the matter might actually arrive at an entirely different conclusion, because the way that this is talking about it is the correct way, is an accurate analysis of the events that unfolded during the Nakba, which means the catastrophe in 1948, when Israel moved on all of the Palestinian villages and basically purged Palestinians from their ancestral homelands, what they lived in, by hundreds of thousands. They moved 750. They moved 750,000 Palestinians from their homes and basically forced them.
This is 1948.
1948,
So
yes.
just after World War II.
Yes. And it's going to describe that right now, but the way that people who want to defend Israel, I'll just give you the alternative argument. I'll steelman their position as well. Those who are defenders of Israel will say, actually, no, that's not what happened. These Arabs, as a collective, were always angry at the Jews because they had anti-Semitism at their hearts, and they always wanted to, not live alongside Jews because they hate Jews. It's almost like a false notion of anti-Semitism created amongst the Arab population in the minds of defenders of Israel to make it seem as though they have almost a Hitlerian, Nazi style anti-Semitism. They'll even point to a Grand Mufti, a Palestinian Grand Mufti, a religious leader that was actually a colonial religious leader that the British Empire had placed in position of power, but that wasn't ultimately a popular person at all, to be oh, Hitler literally talked to this guy actually, and he's the one who told Hitler to kill the Jews, right? Which is Holocaust revisionism And it's Holocaust revisionism that was actually repeated by Benjamin Netanyahu, as a matter of fact, saying that the Palestinian Grand Mufti played a prominent role in getting Hitler to be anti-Semitic and do the final solution is unimaginable Holocaust revisionism. Only fucking Nazis would believe that shit, which Benjamin Netanyahu is. Anyway, so there are a lot of fucking counters. There are a lot of counter arguments to everything that they're talking about, but this is an accurate assessment of the truth.
Okay.
And if you are unfamiliar with the counter arguments, and if you haven't done the reading, people who are at least propagandists that want to make the truth seem different will be able to effectively wind you down. Okay, we'll be able to effectively make it seem like you're wrong, right? But anyway, let's continue.
He stated, "There are no Arabs, 100% Jews. If we persist, it is quite possible that in the next 6 or 8 months there will be considerable changes in the country, very considerable, and to our advantage." More than 70 years later, then Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu posted on Instagram that Israel is not a state of all its citizens, but rather the nation-state of the Jewish people and only them. So, it's no surprise that Israel built a system of racially discriminatory laws, policies, and practices that privilege only Jewish people. And Palestinians, well, Palestinians live there too. They were there before Israel was established. But, as we will explain, they've been trapped for decades in a system that treats them as a lesser, non-Jewish racial group. Before Israel was established in 1948, Palestinians comprised most of the population, around 70%, and owned the vast majority of private land, about 90%, in what was British Mandate Palestine. Jews, many of whom had emigrated from Europe, comprised around 30% of the population, and they and Jewish institutions owned about 6.5% of the land.
The port of Haifa in Palestine lies shattered by bombs and strewn with dead.
In the course of establishing Israel as a Jewish state in 1948, Israeli authorities acted to turn the situation on its head and were responsible for the mass expulsion of Palestinians and the destruction of hundreds of villages, forcing around 800,000 Palestinians out of their homes
here and just took this shit.
lands. Thousands of Palestinians and Jews were killed in...
The counter to this, through legalese, is like, oh, well, the Holocaust happened. These people were not responsible for it. As a matter of fact, 11,000 Palestinians fought against Nazi Germany, but it doesn't matter. It's besides the point. But basically, this is what settler colonialism is. And ultimately, the way that, like, in Israeli society, the way that these events are explained is totally backwards. Like, oh, it was an Arab war against Jews, and the Jews fought back, so we had to send the Arabs away. But the question in that situation is, why didn't you let them return to their homes? These are civilians. Therein lies the problem.
I think they came in wanting the whole land from the beginning.
That's precisely what it is.
And this is just what it's come down to.
Ultimately, that is the final evolution of Zionism, which is happening currently, unfolding in front of our eyes.
in the context of attacks on civilians during this conflict. Today, there are around 6 million Palestinian refugees who Israel denies the right to return to their homes. After the 1967 war, Israel occupied the Palestinian territories of the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and Gaza. Israel's brutal military rule...
I don't even want to tell you, like, the psychotic shit that they did during the Nakba from 1947 onwards. Plan Dalit. These are all historical texts that were literally uncovered by Israeli historians, by the way. And ironically, one of the formative Israeli historians basically uncovered it and then changed his position to, yeah, it was ethnic cleansing and it was planned, but it was good. I'm glad that it happened. And the others were like, this was completely unacceptable. What the fuck? One of which is historian Ilan Pappé, Israeli historian Ilan Pappé. He's an award-winning Israeli historian who was an academic in Israel who left Israel, and I think he like literally gave up his citizenship too. He's like, fuck this shit. Avi Shleim, Ilan Pappé, and the last historian that I'm talking about is Benny Morris. Benny Morris is the one who was like, yes, ethnic cleansing happened, but it was good.
I mean, good for one side, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is one of the many things that they did. The Zionist paramilitaries attacked the village of Deir Yassin. A lot of the stuff that they talked about during October 7 was shit that like Israel had done in Deir Yassin, throwing babies in ovens and things like that.
Sorry, what? Who threw babies in ovens?
I thought Ilan Pappé renounced his citizenship. Maybe I'm wrong. No, Norm is not a part of the group of historians from Israel. Norm is not Israeli. And Norm is an incredible and very accurate chronicler of the fate of the Palestinians post 1948.
Holy moly, dude! This is heavy.
Rule, coupled
so
with the
heavy.
establishment and expansion of
going.
illegal Jewish settlements, has coerced Palestinians into enclaves, creating further fragmentation
your question?
and segregation.
Nothing.
All right, well, you're not paying attention.
No, I asked a question of who threw the baby in the oven.
Oh, in Deir Yassin, Zionist paramilitaries, including like actual paramilitaries that called themselves terror organizations, like personally, engaged in atrocities in an effort to basically and like let some people live in the villages, in the Palestinian villages that were literally like unguarded. There was not a single person there with like weapons. One of the most like gruesome acts of horror was when these terrorists came into the village, and they obviously had a bunch of these people at gunpoint, and there was a baker, and he had this big oven for baking bread, and they took the baker and they told the baker, you have to throw your own son in the oven. The baker refused. So they threw his son in the oven and made the baker watch his son burn alive in the oven. And they threw the baker in the oven. The only reason why we know about this is because the third person that experienced this, that was on that fucking lineup, escaped. And basically the reason why they let a lot of these people escape in the villages after doing like insane atrocities to them, like rape, straight up like raping them to death, killing a bunch of people. The reason they would let people escape is so that they wanted the Palestinians to go to other Palestinian villages and say, this is what they did to us, leave when they come. So they would do like some of the earliest aspects of PSYOPs, basically. They would go into like major cities and they would have these big speakers on armored cars. And the speakers would be blasting like machine gun fire and bomb explosion sounds. They didn't actually have the fucking, they didn't want to use the machine gun fire. Whether it was because they just didn't have a lot of resources or whatever, but they basically would surround the city with military and run these like crazy fucking sounds to make people evacuate.
Yeah.
Would basically surround the city so they can only evacuate from one single file line out of one area of the city, and they would obviously never let them return ever again after evacuating the entire city.
That's how they got all the land.
Yeah. They didn't kill everyone, but they killed enough people. I think it was 15,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Out of 800K? That's what they said got moved?
No. That's the total number of people that were ethnically displaced.
Oh, okay.
But in terms of like directly killing them, they killed 15,000 people, but they used the deaths and the lynchings and the rapes to basically scare the 750,000 ethnic Palestinians into leaving. And then they still to this day say, oh, well, they voluntarily left. Okay, they voluntarily want to come back. They would not allow that to happen. They shot a bunch of people that tried to come back to their own fucking farms and shit. Yeah, so now ask Hasan about Turkey and what they do to the Kurds. I mean, I've talked about this quite a bit. But one ironic part about this is that, like, if Israel treated Palestinians in the same way that, like, the Turkish government treats Kurds, which is still horrifying, especially when you look at Kurdish majority areas where Turks, like the Turkish military, literally fucking engages in like military action. Having said that, however, if the Israeli military treated, or the Israeli government treated and offered full-blown citizenship to every single Palestinian person and considered them simply an ethnic minority, but they have the same rights, even though there is still a lot of racism, this would be declared the greatest human rights achievement of all time. And I don't think there's a single Kurdish person that would disagree with what I'm saying here. Yeah. For the record, Deir Yassin and other massacres were carried out by Irgun and Lihi, paramilitaries that were folded into the modern-day IDF by the state. These are not some sort of rogue entities. They're pertinent to the conflict as other entities. Yeah.
The objective? Maintain Jewish Israeli hegemony and maximize control of land. In the city of Jerusalem, the Israeli official policy is to maintain at least a 60% Jewish majority.
Oh, by the way, Israel supported the South African apartheid.
Now is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, not only to stand within its gates, but also to build the home of your dreams there.
I mean, how did Israel feel about the Holocaust?
So where do all the Palestinians live now?
I don't think they like it.
3.4 million live outside of Israel in the occupied territories, mainly in refugee camps in neighboring countries.
I mean, it sounds like they're trying to run it back, but in their favor.
Yeah, that actually, what you just described is like literally plays a very formative role in the Israeli nationalistic mythos. The Holocaust is like, first of all, Israel didn't exist before when the Holocaust was happening. You know that, right?
I don't know anything.
Okay, think about the timeline. 1948.
I'm learning now.
Okay, so this is years after.
How do they feel about it now?
So the Holocaust plays a incredibly important and very instructive role in the building of the Israeli nation state, and it is a part of like the national myth making for Israel. The analysis is that before the Holocaust, there were also literally centuries of pogroms where, you know, blood libel. Everyone, anytime in any fucking Russian village or in Europe or whatever, something bad was happening, they'd be like, oh, it must be the Jews that are doing that. So what would they do? They would go and fucking find all the Jews and kill them or purge them. So Jewish people have a very long history of consistently getting fucking slaughtered.
Why?
Mercilessly. There was one exception, however.
Yeah.
The Ottoman Empire. Not to fucking glaze myself too much, but the Ottoman Empire was safe haven for Jews. And a lot of Jews actually escaped the Spanish Inquisition and came to the Ottoman Empire and lived in many different parts of the Ottoman Empire, including, but not limited to, historic Palestine. And at the time, it was seen as like a significantly better living experience for Jews in terms of like Europe, in comparison to Europe. But that's besides the point. So, what I was saying was, what the fuck was I saying? He doesn't know what that means.
I assume it has to do with Turkey.
No, centuries of pogroms and the Holocaust. So centuries of pogroms and the Holocaust itself was like a enough is enough moment for a lot of people, I think, where some internalize the message behind never again as like, you know, we can never allow this to happen to anyone ever again, which is the correct message. That's the reason why that message exists. And others, namely those who were at the helm of spearheading Israeli society and building this nation, saw that as never again to us. Like, just, you know, nobody else. I don't give a fuck. We will do it ourselves, actually, even if that's what it takes, but never again to us. So it's the way I think that the Holocaust is viewed is like very complicated in Israeli society, where like there's almost an air of like resentment towards Jews that survived the Holocaust or escaped the Holocaust, where they are seen as like weak by, depending on what fucking level of mania you're operating on, where like there are a lot of hyper right-wing Israeli nationals who consider like Jews during the Holocaust to be weak. They didn't fight back. They didn't fight back enough, which is, again, ahistorical, because they did fight back. That's the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, which is analogous to, October 7 in many respects, but and that they did not know that they were being sent to death camps. Many Jews did not know that they were being sent to death camps. But the idea is like, the idea is that they were weak Jews, and we will never be like them. We will be strong Jews, and I think that's part of the reason why Israeli society is so militant, so hyper militant. One, because it's a settler colony in the middle of a region where it's like actively purged the ethnic indigenous population. So obviously there's going to be a lot of resentment towards that. But beyond that, it's the genuine, I think, like a quite reasonable assessment of the situation as if you parse through Jewish history. Like, it is understandable, bro. If your people are getting constantly fucking killed everywhere and being made to be the only reason why bad things are happening, then yeah, you're gonna fucking be like, holy shit, we cannot have this happen again. We gotta be like super militant. And I think that complicates things a little bit if you're Jewish and learning about Jewish history, or if you're like a little bit interested about Jewish history. I think that is what complicates things, because there is an air of legitimacy to the generational trauma that Jewish people have experienced.
Yeah.
The problem is that generational trauma has caused Jews to be at the forefront of every single civil justice, social justice movement, civil liberty movement, including the abolition of apartheid South Africa. So while Israel was in support of apartheid South Africa, Jews played a prominent role in South African the fight against the South African apartheid.
Why was Israel for it?
Well, because they had their own apartheid and they wanted nukes. I think that was what it was, right? Didn't they fucking get like they developed their nuclear capabilities by collaborating with South Africa? I think. Am I mistaken on that?
So Israel has nukes,
Yeah.
and we still give them weapons. Why?
Well, because they have nukes.
Oh no. Oh no. 20 of your viewers just typed N-word.
0.5 million Palestinians live in Israel and East Jerusalem, restricted to enclaves that make up around 3% of the entire area.
I remember
3 million Palestinians live in the occupied West Bank, but are only allowed to access 40% of the land to live and work.
If they wanted
The
to
rest of
travel
the
to
area
Europe, could
is
they
for the
leave?
Jewish Israeli settlers
Yes,
only.
some.
2 million are trapped.
So depends. The ones in Gaza are heavily restricted in their movement. The ones in the West Bank are also heavily restricted in their movement. Israel does something really fucked up, where if you leave the West Bank as a Palestinian resident in the West Bank, they make it so that it's virtually impossible for you to come back. If you have residence in America as a Palestinian, they still make it really hard for you to go there and visit, but you can go and visit because they're like, yeah, you're going to fuck off and you're going to go back to America or wherever you're from. But if you are a Palestinian resident of the West Bank and you leave the West Bank, they make it like as difficult as possible to make sure that you can't come back into the West Bank.
Man, this is just insane. I'll be honest, man. It sounds like this whole area needs a nice reset, you know?
Okay, bro, but,
Give it to me. Let me start my Palminism there.
Okay, but you have to remember, like,
What? I'll
these
start.
innocent people didn't do shit.
Yeah, they can join me. It's great.
Like,
You have the dark matter yet?
like when you learn this stuff, your argument shouldn't be like, oh man, it's just too complicated for me. Fuck it, like let God sort it out. Because God doesn't end up sorting it out. Israel sorts it out. You know what I mean?
No,
Back
not
to the
God.
Gaza Strip, one of the
Dark
most
matter.
densely populated areas in the
Supercomputer.
world. Fragmentation of the Palestinian society and the dispossession of their lands are key pillars of Israel's apartheid system to maintain domination and control. But there's more. The unequal structure of nationality and status, restrictions on freedom of movement, use
Oh
of
my
military
God, you.
rule, denial of right to political participation, or the right to peaceful protest, and cruel separation of families all add to the complex system that we see today.
The world in general hasn't woken up to the fact that there is an entrenched system of oppression against Palestinians across Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, wherever they may live, by the Israeli state. It's a system that's been put in place and maintained for decades, and it's that system that is the root cause of so many of the violations, the misery and the suffering that millions of Palestinians face on a daily basis.
One way to understand this segregation and oppression is to look at the ID system.
What's the ID system?
Jewish Israelis have only one ID card, with a status that grants them the rights to live almost anywhere they wish in the country. Yeah. They can move freely with access to healthcare and vast resources. Okay. Palestinians, on the other hand, have 4 types of ID cards, if any at all. The kind of ID card you are given determines the level of rights you can enjoy and controls where you can go and what you can do. If you hold a green card, you are subject to military rule. And if you have a green card with a Gaza address, it means you're trapped in a 365-kilometre square open-air prison under Israeli military blockade in place since 2007. Israel controls what goes in and what goes out, from children's toys to medical supplies. 90%.
They literally fucking banned, at times, they call it putting the Palestinians on a diet, and they have banned, at times, things such as cookies and pasta, only for the American government to go, what the fuck, why are you banning pasta? And then they go, okay, we'll let them have pasta.
Dude.
Yeah.
Of the people have no access to safe drinking water, 47% are unemployed, 56% live in poverty. Palestinians with a Gaza ID are forbidden from going to Jerusalem in the West Bank, even if they have family there. Some people in the West Bank are considered to live there illegally and can be deported immediately to Gaza if found by the army, even if they have been in the West Bank for decades. Whereas, if you hold a green card which has a West Bank address, then you live here. This green card means you can live within specific
Also, if you're a fucking idiot and you only regurgitate whatever the fuck Israel says for its justifications for the genocide, like some former Twitch, now Kick streamers, you will look like an absolute baboon in front of knowledgeable people when you turn around and say, oh, they banned sugar, like cookies, okay, they banned cookies and pasta because they're making bombs out of it.
Is that possible?
No, it's not. It's already fucking processed. It's inside of a cookie. You can't fucking, unless Palestinians have figured out something that no one else has, alchemy of that sort. Okay, you can't just fucking use cookies as a bomb-making material.
Listen, the Unabomber would have figured that out if it was possible. Yeah. Ted Kaczynski had an IQ of like 175.
Yeah, if you read his writings, I quite the idiot, in my opinion.
What he said about technology wasn't far off.
Okay, but that's it. That's like kind of the only thing.
Everything else was crazy, but he hit the nail on the head about the society and technology. But
it was also insane, bro.
Amen.
Enclaves surrounded by illegal Israeli settlements. And there's a separation wall and fences built around you since 2002, which Palestinians call the apartheid wall. It's 8 meters high in places and 700 kilometers long. That's twice the height of the Berlin Wall and more than 4 times its length. 80% of it is built inside the West Bank, occupying even more Palestinian land.
So they actually built the wall.
There are separate roads for Israelis and Palestinians, hundreds of checkpoints scattered throughout, not to mention the 54 years of occupation, which has devastated the lives of millions of Palestinians. Palestinians with a West Bank ID can travel to Gaza or East Jerusalem, but only if they receive a permit from the military to do so. This blue ID is for Palestinians in East Jerusalem. They can travel to the occupied West Bank as well as to Israel, but they are not citizens of Israel. They have only been granted a residency status.
So
this means that they cannot vote in Israeli national elections, and if they leave East Jerusalem for too long, for example, to study or work abroad.
It's the only, yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. They have their residency revoked. You don't get it. Like, they don't give it to you. They don't offer it to you unless you're literally already in East Jerusalem, which is a territory that Israel literally has. All right, I'll ask you this much. Would it shock you if you were to find out that Israel has open in the laws direct goals of what the population percentage of a certain area needs to look like? Well, after finding out about all this, probably not. But like, if I were to tell you, 4 hours ago that like, did you know that Israel has an interest in maintaining a certain percentage of like the Jewish population in an area?
I can't answer now because I saw earlier they said they wanted 60% or something.
Yes,
I saw that.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, it is literally a part of the overarching goal of the state is like, we have to keep this area 60% Jew.
This sounds
As a Canadian citizen, I'm not allowed to fly into Tel Aviv. They would put me on a flight to go back. I'm only allowed to into the West Bank through Jordan, and I can't go to Jerusalem either without a visa from them, which they normally deny. Yeah. If you're a Palestinian, if you're an Israeli citizen, if you're an Israeli Jew, right? Because Israel has its own demographics, which is really funny because like Israel is relatively diverse in terms of like the actual ethnic backgrounds, because there's plenty of Arab Jews as well, right? Like if I were to put a fucking lineup and be like, which one is Palestinian, which one's Israeli, you would not be able to tell them apart. They all look fucking diverse. Like there's white ones, and then there's fucking brown ones, and even black ones, right? And
black what?
Jews and also Arabs. Yeah, there's Ethiopian Jews, bro.
They look like me?
I mean, you're light-skinned enough, but no. I mean, Ethiopians look kind of. I mean, I guess kind of.
Okay.
Could Nick be Ethiopian, chat?
They're probably darker.
And the same goes for Arabs. Anyway.
Yeah.
Israeli society has created, because of its ethno-state status, the Israeli government has created a designation. There's 2 tiers. You are either an Israeli citizen, like full-blown citizen, which means you're Jewish, or you are a non-Jew living inside of Israel. We call that the Palestinian citizens of Israel, the 1948ers, the people that were there that were offered citizenship at the time. The only thing that makes them different from like full-blown Israeli Jews is that they're just not Jewish, that they're either Christian or Muslim. Now, here's where things get interesting, okay? There are Arab Jews. Itamar Ben-Gvir is the Ministry of like Interior Defense or whatever, like the national police guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking from Iraq. He's Arab, but he's Jewish. So even if you're Arab, you still get slotted into Jewish as your ethnic and religious background. And what's really interesting about this process is that if you are an Israeli Jewish citizen, right, regardless of where you're from, and you want to marry a Palestinian Muslim in the West Bank, you can't bring the Palestinian Muslim from the West Bank into Israel. Even if you get married, you have to live in the West Bank now. You can, your citizenship only goes down. Like you only get level down. You can't level up.
Okay. That is.
Yeah. I've had a conversation with a literal Arab, with a Jewish Arab from Israel, teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And in the conversation, I tried to explain to him that like he's technically Arab as well, or Itamar Ben-Gvir is Arab, and he got mad at me. He was like, "No, they're not Arab. They reserve the term only for non-Jews. Calling an Israeli Jew an Arab is like calling them a slur there." Yeah.
Okay, Hasan.
Yeah.
Help me here.
What?
What's an Arab? I don't understand what you're saying.
Arabs are people of a specific ethnic background from Arab countries, like predominantly Arab countries.
Right. Okay. So where you're born at, it's not
that speak Arabic.
So you can be Jewish if you're born in an Arabic country.
Yeah. There were plenty of Jewish people that used to live in Arabic countries. Some of them,
Yeah.
some of them were literally after Israel was developed as a nation state.
Yeah.
Some of them were fucking purged from the Arabic nations because they had their own pan-Arabic or their own nationalist movements in their development of the nation state. So they literally were forcing them out. Or Israel also personally, like in the case of Iraq, was making it so that they would do false flag attacks, like bomb synagogues. Israel would bomb a synagogue in Iraq to be like, see, they hate you. You need to come to Israel now.
So let me get this straight. If you're in Arabic and if you're from help. You said if you say you're an Arabic Jew, it's a slur.
Jews in Israel that are from Arabic backgrounds, okay,
They will
that come
deny-
from countries Arabic countries,
Yeah.
do not consider themselves to be Arab. You can only be Arab inside of Israel if you are non-Jew. If you are not a Jewish person, you can be, if you're Christian or if you're Muslim, under Israeli societal designation, you are Arab. But if you're Jewish, you're not. Israel has actually a separate designation for Arab Jews. Jews of Arabic
Holy fuck,
origin
man.
and Arab designation. It's called it's the Mizrahi.
Chat, this is a lot to take in one day, guys. I apologize. This is just a lot to take in because I'm trying to get everything plain, plain as day.
It's all good.
Because I'm just getting confused here.
If you are an Israeli Jew of Arab descent, you have a separate designation under like Israeli society. As a Jewish person, you are still considered a Jewish person. If they ask you like what your background is, there's a separate designation for it. It's called Mizrahi.
And is that frowned upon?
No.
Okay.
Well, originally, when they were first coming into Israel, they were frowned upon. There was a lot of issues with integration of Mizrahi Jews into Israeli society. I don't want to really get into that, but like they used to call them like they considered them barbarians. Like, oh, you need to learn how to fucking. There was definitely a Ashkenazi supremacist undertone to a lot of this stuff, and there still kind of is in Israel. Ashkenazis are Eastern European and white Jews, many of which that live in the United States of America as well. So like there is definitely colorism in Israel as well. They did a sterilization operation on Ethiopian Jews specifically because they claimed it was so that they would stop birth defects, but it was actually so that they would stop having children.
Oh.
Because they wanted to continue the Western European style nature of Israel. Israel also engaged in ecological terrorism, ecological colonialism, where they would like raise all the Arab villages, change the villages to sound more Israeli in name, like Hebrew. They also did like really unique shit. I mean, Hebrew as a language was basically revitalized. Like it was a dead language ultimately. Most Jews like spoke Yiddish or whatever the language that they spoke in their nation of origin. And then they literally single-handedly in this nation state project revived a fucking dead language, brought it to the forefront. Unfortunately, some of the consequences were like the desecration and destruction of Yiddish because of some of the similar cultural aspects of Yiddish that I explained, or cultural remnants of like the way that some of Israeli society internalize the Holocaust or how they look at the Holocaust. But
I have heard of the word Yiddish, chat. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone said Nick hasn't heard of the word.
It's not entirely accurate. I mean, I think it's like, it was almost an entirely liturgical language like Latin. I think that like if Israel wasn't such a violent and a bloody permanent occupation, settler colonial occupation, like there is a lot of phenomenal achievements that you could point to, including literally like the revitalization of a language such as Hebrew in such a short period of time. I think that the problem is it came alongside the death and destruction. But in terms of like the ecological terrorism that I was referencing, they literally fucking would raise these villages, change the language or change the name of the villages to like, either biblical shit or not even biblical shit, but like they would change it to like Hebrew words. But then also they would destroy the olive trees. Olive trees take hundreds of years to like grow and fucking bear fruit as efficiently as they can in Palestine, and they would burn the olive trees down, and they would plant European style trees. They would plant trees that like resembled the European fauna, and like pine trees and shit. And obviously pine trees like exist in fucking Lebanon and shit too, but like basically they changed the ecology of the entire area, or not the fauna, the flora, sorry. And what ended up happening is like now they have a higher likelihood of having like wildfires because it's like such a dry area that it's not supposed to.
They shouldn't have done it then.
Yeah. Anyway,
so
yeah, they engage in ecological fascism.
I have another dumb question.
Yeah.
For like Gaza and like the West Bank, do they have internet?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a couple different processes. One now former Hasan Abihed who was executed by the Israeli state.
Excuse me. One of your viewers was executed by
a bunch of my viewers, yes.
Shut the fuck up.
What do you mean shut the fuck up? He was also a TikToker. He also had a TikTok. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's a video of him. There's a video of him explaining the process of using eSIMs.
And they killed him?
Yeah. In an internet cafe.
Oh, brother. Should I not be on this stream? Oh my god.
You're not in Gaza.
Oh my god. This is wild, Hasan. This whole thing is crazy to me, man.
It's been tough bringing this up, but I don't even want to cover this aspect of it. I don't even want to talk about it. It makes me really sad to think about. But his name is Meadow. Anyway, he was a TikToker and he loved growing plants. He had like a miniature greenhouse.
You don't have to get into it if it's sad.
Anyway,
please don't.
The point is, he had a video where he talks about like how they get internet, where they go to the Egyptian border and they have eSIMs.
Yeah, yeah.
And they like fucking put the phone up so that he could pirate videos and then, watch American movies and TV.
So he would get cell service from like from
Egypt.
Egypt.
From eSIM from Egypt, yeah.
Okay, so they don't have internet. They have to they have to go get it their own way.
Yeah, Israel controls like the telecommunications as well. Like they would routinely blow up. He thinks they killed him because he watches you. No, he did. They didn't kill him because he watches me. They killed him because he's just a Palestinian, and they don't care.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
holy fuck.
But yeah, basically they control internet access. They'll blow like telecommunication centers. Like they'll blow up cell towers and stuff every now and then to force a blackout. In the early stages of the genocide, they would just like blow up the cell towers to do a complete communication blackout so that people couldn't get the word out about what was going on. But nowadays, they don't even feel the need to do that because people just don't care. Like, so many people have died and Americans don't care. Israel only offers justification for the people that they've killed if it becomes a fucking major news story in the West, too. That's the other thing. Like, World Central Kitchen, led by Jose Andres, American chef, very famous, Barack Obama's favorite chef. World Central Kitchen was literally, like Jose Andres of World Central Kitchen was like defending Israel in the early months of October, being like, Israel has a right to defend itself. He was like shitting on a fucking Spanish parliament member who was saying like Israel does not have a right to fucking destroy Palestinian lives like this. Stop it. He was like, critically defending Israel and stuff. So this guy is World Central Kitchen, right? Yes, he's from Spain. I know. But he's like very famous in America. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, he's done a lot of good stuff around the world. So he collaborates with the Israeli government. The Israeli government's like, oh, this will be good PR for us if we get this fucking famous Spanish chef who is a Zionist himself to go and like deliver food. So the World Central Kitchen basically operates in a similar capacity to UNRWA. Oh my God, I can't even begin to explain what UNRWA is to you. Never mind, I'm not even going to get into the Refugee Relief Works Agency. So they go and they hire Palestinians, and they try to use like Palestinian kitchens. They try to use the Palestinian food. Like if they go to an area that is impacted, they try to hire the people there. So it's like double aid. You know what I mean? They give them money, and they, they give them money, and they use their own logistical supply chains. Anyway, it's a wonderful organization.
Yeah.
It is also comprised of Westerners, like Americans, British people, Australian people. They go down there.
Yeah.
World Central Kitchen was in collaboration with the Israeli government when they were offering humanitarian aid to the Palestinians on the ground. There's a process called deconfliction. It's like a military term that it's like a military term that is used like when you're coordinating your movement in a war zone so they don't fucking kill you.
Sure.
Right? Ambulances do this as well. Palestinian Red Crescent does this with the Israeli government. They get killed all the time, but they're Palestinians, so that doesn't really matter to the rest of the world. But World Central Kitchen was engaging in deconfliction with the Israeli military, and they were going through the expected route. The Israeli they call it a rogue brigade, but it was just like any other fucking brigade because it's a kill zone. Triple tapped that convoy and executed 7 World Central Kitchen humanitarian aid workers. This was a major news story for a week.
Including the guy from Spain?
No, not Jose Andres. He's still alive. But he changed his attitude about Israel quite dramatically after that experience where he was like, what the fuck are you doing? You just killed my friends. But only after that, he, changed his tune on Israel and the genocide. Not that it matters, because nothing came of it. No changes were made. The people that engaged in the act got barely a fucking slap on the wrist.
Dude.
Yeah.
Is that them?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Israel slaughters Americans. Israel slaughters people from Australia, Poland, USA and Canada, UK. They killed like UK vets.
Are they doing this on purpose so people just be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna help anymore?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. What argument do you make to people who don't wish to believe in empirical facts just because who's giving the facts, as well as to inform people that are only taking verbal information just as worse as ignoring other information? Is there any hope to turn these people back to journalists or news outlets who give these facts? I don't know. If someone, and there are plenty of people like this because of living in the post 9/11 universe where like if you're Muslim, they automatically declare you an enemy combatant in their eyes. A lot of people hear me speak on this stuff and they're like, well, your name is Hasan. Of course you're fucking biased. You love this Muslim shit. They don't understand that I just see the humanity of all people.
Got it.
They think that I have a special place for the Palestinian population because of my Muslim background. And then they double down and follow up with that line of bigotry and say, oh, it's because you're anti-Semitic too. Anyway, oh yeah, here is the UN agency had to suspend operations in Gaza after a car was hit by gunfire at an Israeli checkpoint, the World Food Program. You can see it right there, the badge says. Yeah.
And so when these
also notice, okay,
what do they say though when they get
notice
accused of
notice
this?
the way that like here I'll give you another example of manufacturing consent. The way that these guys, the way that Western media, the Telegram group, no, I don't want to. This is a different incident from World Central Kitchen. This is a different UN humanitarian aid group.
You told me a story about earlier when with the cops that were lining up. Like they seem to be doing this all the time.
So yeah, so here's the thing. Do you notice something weird about this article headline? When you see this headline, doesn't it kind of make you feel like the gunfire could be coming from anyone?
Yeah, because it's hit by random gunfire.
Yeah, this is what is known as passive voice. News outlets in the United States of America and also in the Western world in general will apply this technique called passive voice. You would never, like during 9/11, it would be akin to writing like airplane collision with World Trade Center causes 3,000 to perish. They wouldn't say that, right? Terrorists attacked the World Trade Center is the fucking headline, right? And it is a way to make it seem like whenever a cop kills someone in America or whenever Israel or an American ally shoots at or does something illegal to an American enemy,
Yep.
the way that like Western media tries to, you know, put a, you know, manicure the story and manufacture consent by manicuring the story and massaging it.
What consent? Consent to get shot?
No, manufacturing consent is like you're giving consent. Like you're reading this and you're like, oh, it could be anybody that did it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
I guess like Israel
I get it.
might not have done it. It's a way to take the edge off. Basically, they do this all the time.
But why? Why not just be like, what? Why?
Consent in this circumstance is approval. Like
Right.
you give tacit endorsement.
Who
and
owns the
approval.
Guardian?
I don't fucking know. Some rich British guy.
I'm just curious at why like soften it.
The reason why Western newspapers soften these sorts of actions is because it's not because it's like owned by a singular individual. It's because the goal of these institutions is to do propaganda that align with the interests of their own state. That's why they do it. It's not like an individual that is engaging in propaganda because they like are personally invested in Israel. In some instances, they might be like literally invested in Israel, and like their portfolio has investments in Israel, right? Like that's one aspect of the story, but like usually they do this specifically to make it seem like Israel's actions are not. Even the LA Times actually said UCLA cancels classes after counter-protesters violently attack pro-Palestinian camp. This was actually an interesting instance where mainstream media basically said counter-protesters, pro-Israeli counter-protesters, violently attacked the pro-Palestinian camp. But watch what happens quickly. Mainstream media being like, yeah, listen up, big dog. You guys f***ed up a little bit.
Dismantle the pro-Palestinian camp.
Wait, check out the LA Times headline now. Much more ambiguous. No. Dude, are you serious? After violent protests at UCLA, UC president launches investigation into response.
Why'd they change it?
They changed it because it was too fucking anti-Israel. In real time, we watched it happen. They were like, all right, well, you know, maybe the first headline wasn't great. We should...
They definitely...
Yeah, look. Yeah. Gunfire kills, wounds dozens in hospital encircled by Israeli tanks. Who did it?
They definitely know who you are.
Who fucking did it, bro? Who did it? Gunfire kills, wounds dozens in hospital? Like, as though this is a fucking naturally occurring phenomenon, you know, in Gaza. It's just how it works.
Bro, this whole thing is just... honestly horrifying.
Yeah. And I mean, they do this for a lot of shit. It's not just for like Israel, you know? Whenever there is capital interest, you will always have similar things happen.
So I got a question.
What?
So when you see an article like this, what you probably do is look into it more to see what actually happened, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Because the average person will see his article and move on with their day.
Yeah, and that's the informed person. The average person doesn't know or give a fuck about any of this shit. But the informed population that want to learn about it read these articles and will, you know, their takeaway will be whatever the fuck the article wants you to think.
Like an LSF thread.
I don't know why you would compare it to LSF in that regard, but I guess it's correct.
Because people read the titles and just assume that's what happened.
Yeah, you're right. That's not wrong. And they clip chimp too.
Yeah. Holy man, like you gotta put in a lot of effort if you really want to know what's going on.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
And that's why I also consistently try to tell people that are like newcomers in this community, like everything you've heard about me has a very specific purpose. It is to sully my reputation. To
I
make
always
sure
defend
that,
you, by the way, in the morning.
To make sure that, I know. To make sure that like you don't come in here with a clear mind or a clear conscience and a level of charitability. Your impact in here is supposed to be uncharitable, so that you don't listen to what I have to say, and you've already automatically declared me someone who is like biased against your interests, and it's someone who is like sinister.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
I know this stuff's cooked because I talked to my dad about this once, and the things that he was saying blew my mind. I'm like, Dad, I can't believe you just said this.
Yeah.
Because he, especially with like the drops, like when they were dropping the stuff, it was crazy.
Your videos on the Lebanon pager attack? Yeah. Remember when Israel blew up pagers in Lebanon?
That was recently.
Yeah. Like 7 days ago. Israel has since killed 800 people in Lebanon.
With pagers?
No, with fucking bombing, direct bombing campaigns. But at the time, they killed like, I think 11 with the pagers, including 2 children, right? And they maimed up like 3,000 people on top of that. And the media covered it as like this phenomenal instance of espionage against a scary enemy combatant. They blew up civilian communications devices after infiltrating a supply chain, not knowing who ended up with those fucking pagers at all. And yet, of course, they killed a bunch of people that were civilians in the process. You can't even kill enemy combatants when they're not in war anyway. That's still a war crime regardless. It was a war crime after a war crime. It was a double war crime. It was an act of terror. And that's precisely what it did. It caused psychological trauma to the civilian population that was worried about their fucking household goods. They were like, is my fucking toaster going to explode next? That's what happened.
Oh my God.
That is an act of terror. The media literally covered it as though it was actually a phenomenal tactical instance of Israeli espionage. And a lot of people don't actually scratch the surface. They just look at that and they go, yeah, you know what? This is great. Yeah. 4-year-old Lebanese girl Naya Ghazi was among the 14 Israel killed today. Her body was recovered several hours later from under the rubble.
Thank you. I mean, we're not going to see her blow up, are we, or anything like that? Okay, please.
No, this was the rubble when they started bombing.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
This is heavy stuff, man.
Yeah.
Chat, you be here all day listening to this guy, huh? This stuff is not for the faint of heart. It really isn't.
Yeah. So, you know, it is what it is, I guess.
It is what it is. And this is why you like to play basketball, because that's where you can just be free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it now.
If the enemy is facts, the only way to win is by attacking the messenger. Yeah. That's exactly. There were media correspondents that called the attack awesome. So many people. Like.
Why would that be awesome if you're blowing up civilians with pagers?
Because it's the enemy. They're killing enemies. They're killing Arabs. And the Arabs that die as collateral damage is simply just like Arabs that shouldn't have been in the way. Okay? That's what it is. That's how dehumanization works. This is also, this is why a lot of people despise American foreign policy, like absolutely hate American foreign policy.
Man.
Watching churches get bombed during Christmas really fucked me up. Hard to enjoy things when you know stuff is happening. Yeah. Israel was doing that. They were bombing Palestinian churches. Anyway, the craziest part of it is that they say these guys are human shields. That's like the Israeli propaganda for it. They're like, oh, well, they're human shields. They're in the way of our bombs.
You know what makes you kind of wonder? How much of after 9/11, the stuff that I was told as American citizens was just not true?
What do you mean? A lot of it. Why did we invade Afghanistan?
I don't fucking know.
Why did we invade Iraq?
The bad guys were there.
Yeah. They hadn't. Brother, 17 of the 19 hijackers were Saudi.
I know.
Why did we not invade Saudi Arabia and just went to random countries instead? Now, for Afghanistan, you could say, oh, they were holding Osama bin Laden. Okay, turns out he was in Pakistan anyway, which is, again, next to the fucking Pakistani military training facility. He was living there. But regardless, when he was in Afghanistan, we had the opportunity to extract him without invading Afghanistan, but we invaded it anyway.
Do you like George W. Bush?
Fuck no.
Well, when he dodged those shoes.
That was unfortunately one of those instances where you hate hearing about someone who is worthy of so much more worse things, but he just got good reflexes in that time.
Did you see him tell a security guard to back off when the second shoe was coming?
No.
He did. He told us, I got this. I'm going to dodge this shoe. That's all I know. Dude, that's...
Yeah.
Whew. Man.
They lied about WMDs in Iraq. They were like, oh, they have, WMDs. We got to go invade Iraq. Iraq was even less involved. Iraq was even less involved than Afghanistan was, and Afghanistan wasn't even fucking involved at all.
Dude, life is just, it can be quite fucked sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm over here just enjoying my Veronica Khalil every morning.
But here's how this works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bush rejects Taliban offer to hand bin Laden.
Excuse me?
9:30 p.m. update. Taliban demand evidence of bin Laden's guilt. Second week of airstrike starts. Taliban urges U.S. to halt bombing.
Wait, they were going to hand him over?
Yeah, dude.
Didn't it take us 10 years to find this guy? And Barack was like, we got him.
Don't even get me started on. Osama bin Laden was a known asset.
I know.
And even before, there were plenty of people who did not like him and were actually against him amongst the Mujahideen, not the Taliban, but other groups in the Mujahideen in Afghanistan. On 9/10, they assassinated the guy who wanted to fucking give America, warned America about Osama bin Laden. But yeah, they rejected the Taliban offer to hand bin Laden, and they said, we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Okay, this might be a loaded question. I'm learning everything for the first time. Everything seems new to me. Was bin Laden behind 9/11?
Yes.
Okay. So not everything I know is a lie.
No.
Okay. All right.
But bin Laden was before 9/11.
All right.
Osama bin Laden, for many, many years, got positive coverage even from the Western news. Did you know that?
No, I'd never heard of the guy before that happened.
Let me show you the tape.
No, oh, no. There's a tape?
No, it's not a tape.
Didn't he play Counter-Strike?
I think so. He was also in the hentai, I think. Hold on. Osama bin Laden. Was it in which newspaper was it in? Guardian? Revolutionary. USSR.
Wait. Was it? Oh my.
Center for Public Integrity. How the U.S. helped midwife a terrorist. The 9/10 guy is Ahmed Shah Massoud, but I'm not talking about that. Does anyone have the news article? You know what I'm talking about? The article about not the Mujahideen, but like about Osama bin Laden specifically. Trained by the CIA, by the way. And so were the fucking, they knew of him. He was a known asset. Oh, this is that's the title of the article. Hold on. Gopnik Makbliat. Oh, this in the newspaper, this also had a photo of Osama bin Laden. Anti-Soviet warrior puts his army on the road to peace. The Saudi businessman who recruited Mujahideen now uses them for large-scale building projects in Sudan. Robert Fisk met him in Almaty, 1993.
This is
Here's the photo, I think. Yeah, here it is. There he is. All 6'7" of old glory.
He was,
right there.
He was 6'7"?
Yeah, he's tall as hell, bro.
Did he play basketball?
He should have.
Dude, the world's insane. Just.
Yeah.
I'm getting cold shivers.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Austin is yelling from the background. He said, "You'll never enjoy the national anthem as much again."
I mean, which one at this point? Me and Felix.
July 4th has never been celebrated the same since I started watching the sun.
Oh no!
It's almost like I heard he had a couple slam dunks back in September of 2001.
No, dude.
Yeah, he was playing with the wrong Rockets.
Dude, stop. Please stop. Oh my goodness, dude.
So, here's the thing. The reason why you are completely not knowledgeable of all these affairs is because it would make you go fucking crazy if you constantly thought about this shit. And the entire purpose of the media is to basically dull your sensibilities into not knowing any of this shit. What I have to deal with is something that's worse. You are fantastic. You're charitable. You're curious. You're interested in this intellectually, and you're not going to immediately be resistant to what I have to say. But the average person that constantly gets all of this fucking propaganda, okay, already has a resilience to what I have to say, and sometimes will go forth and defend it, okay? They will defend the Israeli actions. That's what fucking pisses me off more than anything else. Motherfuckers that are not knowledgeable come in here and repeat talking points they heard from some fucking YouTuber who is also not knowledgeable on the issue, but they're also now the person is repeating a person that didn't already have the full scope of the story, and are like not even remembering the talking points correctly. And they're just pissing me the fuck off because they're so smarmy and fucking annoying about it. They're like, and also on top of that, they, especially in this instance, they'll also package it with like a shit ton of Islamophobic sentiment to be like, this morning someone fucking came in and was like, I heard your pager is beeping. Like, that's like a threat. You know what I mean? He's saying like,
oh my God,
you know, you're Hezbollah and you're going to blow up. Like I hope the American government kills you. That's what that means. And it's very frustrating because like if you interrogate that person and try to figure out where they came to this conclusion, they have no knowledge whatsoever because it takes nothing to just be like, you're a fucking dirty, sand N-word and you're going to blow up. It takes nothing to say that, you know?
But why would they say that? Where's the anger coming from?
Well, you weren't here this morning when I talked about it, but that anger comes from the fact that motherfucker doesn't have health care. That motherfucker is fully aware of the hurt and harm caused to him by his own government. He at least experiences the impacts of it. He knows that his life is never going to be as good as his parents' generation. He knows he's never going to have a home. He knows he's never going to have a job. He's never going to or have a meaningful job. He's never going to be able to retire. So that fucking makes him really angry.
He's frustrated.
And in that anger and frustration, he lashes out at whoever the fuck can hear him. And it makes him feel powerful in that moment to be like, this guy, this Twitch streamer, he has a lot of money. He's hot. People listen to him. But, I'm going to piss him off because he's lower than me, because he's a fucking dirty Muslim defending other dirty Muslims that are getting brutalized by the American and Israeli militaries. That's where that anger comes from. That's where racism comes from. The notion that someone will look at you and because you're black, assume automatically that you are worse than they are, that you're lower, you're inferior to them. That kind of like that kind of white supremacist sentiment.
I have dealt with that in the past.
Someone said Netanyahu's dead. No, he's not, bro. Shut the fuck up.
You want to know how I defeated in the past?
No way. How?
So people used to call me like the N-word and stuff back in middle school. But then I realized I could say something to them that hurt them even more.
What?
I would just call them poor.
Okay.
It was a defense mechanism.
I feel you. I understand, I guess. For real, Hasan, I'd argue with you dead ass 2 hours just to finally say, okay, well, maybe it's possible I don't have all the facts. Yeah. Oh, yeah, LBJ.
What do you say?
LBJ, Lyndon Big Dick Johnson said, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him something to look down to. He'll empty his pockets for you.
The president said this?
Yeah.
He said this?
Yeah, he had a fat cock, bro. What do you mean? He's unstoppable. He had a fat cock, and he really wanted to do Vietnam.
But, like, isn't this kind of insulting towards white people?
Oh, woe is me, bro.
No, I'm just saying. And
I mean, it is, but who gives a shit?
No, I'm saying, but it's like people. He's speaking the truth then.
Yeah.
I've never heard this quote before. That's interesting.
Nixon said worse? Yeah, but he didn't say that about white people. Nixon said that about black people, Jews.
Was Nixon racist?
Dog, which American president wasn't racist?
Barack
Obama called Black Lives Matter protesters uppity thugs.
Who?
Barack Obama called Black Lives Matter protesters uppity thugs.
Oh. Was he joking?
No, he wasn't joking.
Better question, who's not racist?
Didn't he also do the pull your pants up shit too? I feel like he did that too. Who was not racist?
Just who in general? I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Barack Obama loved melting black and brown people overseas with drone strikes, dude. He fucking blew up a goddamn hospital. He even killed Italian doctors.
He did that?
Yeah, bro, Kunduz.
I don't know what that is.
He blew up a hospital in Kunduz.
Just for fun? I don't understand.
The hospital was a Doctors Without Borders hospital, so he had to apologize for it because, like, he killed white people too. He blew up weddings.
I've raised money for them before.
What?
Doctors Without Borders?
Yeah.
I've raised money for those before.
They're sick. I love Doctors Without Borders. Goddamn commie doesn't want. Yeah, he had to apologize.
An error with fatal consequences. Barack Obama has apologized to Doctors Without Borders for the U.S. bombing.
Right? Yeah, because he killed white people. How many hospitals did they fucking blow up that they never apologized for because there were no white people there? This happened to be...
Who's the guy on the left?
I think he's... I'm assuming the French
that mistakenly hit the
leader or
NGO
something
in Kunduz, killing 22 people.
I actually don't
President
know who that
Obama
guy
spoke
is.
by telephone with Doctors Without Borders International President Dr.
The German president? Okay.
Joanne Liu to apologize and express his condolences for the MSF staff and patients who were killed and injured when a U.S. military airstrike mistakenly struck an MSF field hospital in Kunduz. After completing that call, the president telephoned.
Yeah. Anyway.
Did all he say was I'm sorry? Did he do anything?
He hit the wrong location. It has nothing to do with white people. Lol W. Stop it. No, dog. No, you fucking idiot. He apologized because white people were killed. How many wrong locations the American government fucking target over and over again with no apologies? This is what I mean. This motherfucker doesn't know the facts. I do. He misunderstood me, and now it's like my problem. You know what I mean? He's making his problem my issue. He's making it the issue of 35,000 people that are watching right now. And it's very fucking annoying, you know?
Jeez.
Look. My boomer black chatter. Bro, telling young black men to pull their pants up ain't racist, brother. It's saying be respectful to yourself, not having your ass hang out.
I mean, to be fair, my mother also told me to pull my pants up.
Isn't she also conservative, kind of?
No, my mom rants about Donald Trump all the time.
I know, but like, that doesn't change the dynamic. You can still be conservative and be anti-Trump.
Well, no, she's voting for the blue team.
The Democrats? Come on, you know
Listen, she's just super religious and she doesn't like
awesome there show. You go.
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Isn't it quite ignorant being I know more than you? Yeah, it is. If I was not fully aware of the situation and also knew that that person didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. So in this situation, it's actually not ignorant. It's addressing ignorance. But you are hyper-focused on the aesthetics of it, okay? But you assume people don't? Yes, because in a situation where I have the full scope of knowledge and I'm talking about a specific aspect of Barack Obama's drone program where one of the unintentional targets was a hospital that was a Doctors Without Borders hospital, which was unceremoniously and uniquely apologized for as opposed to the litany of other fucking strikes that Barack Obama never apologized for. I'm saying he only apologized because he killed Western doctors. Okay? And if you come in here in this situation, if you come in here and you tell me like, nah, it had nothing to do with white people, lol, then yeah, you are ignorant of the facts. And it shouldn't hurt your feelings that you are not knowledgeable. The more you know, the more you realize that you don't know. You're so wrong, it's ridiculous. You're so left, you're actually on the right, fully aware. Bro thinks he knows everything.
This guy must have got a gifted sub. There's no
Yeah,
way he paid
of course.
for this.
He did. And he did that, and now he won't see the top of the hour ad break, which is coming in the middle of the hour because I forgot to run it. And there are plenty of others like him, but it's all good. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Admitting you misfired and showed military incompetence is only deployed when white people are the collateral. I am going to in a second. They would never admit to military incompetence when innocent black and brown civilians are impacted. Yes. By the way, ironically, another incident occurred with the World Central Kitchen aid bombings. Israel never apologized for killing 200 humanitarian aid workers before the World Central Kitchen aid workers were killed. 200. Why? Because those humanitarian aid workers were fucking brown. They were Arab. They were Lebanese. They were Palestinian. Okay? They only apologized for it because World Central Kitchen aid workers were killed, and they were fucking Canadian and Australian and British. Okay? The entire purpose of why these organizations like Doctors Without Borders exist is because everybody knows that America is going to be at least a little bit more careful if there's white people there, okay? That these agencies are going to be a little bit more careful with their targeting when there's valuable people there, white people, okay? That's literally the entire purpose of Doctors Without Borders. That is literally the entire purpose of aid groups like this. That is the whole purpose. And they will tell you that, by the way, in their fucking mission statement. It's so funny that people just still try to deny the like abject reality. There's a Polish guy there too, yeah. Worth noting that Republicans at the time said Obama was weak for apologizing for the U.S. on the world stage for doing war crimes. Yeah. 75% of aid workers killed this year were literally killed by Israel. World Humanitarian Day 2024, with number of aid workers killed reaching record high, UN and partners demand those in power, #Act for Humanity. Outrageously high number of humanitarian aid workers killed, with 280 aid workers killed in 33 countries last year. 2023 marked the deadliest year on the record for global humanitarian community. The outrageously high number represents a 137% increase compared to 2022, when 118 aid workers were killed. 2024 may be on track for an even deadlier outcome. More than half of the 2023 deaths were recorded in the first 3 months, October to December, of the hostilities in Gaza, mostly a result of airstrikes. Good guys. Israel deliberately targets and assassinates journalists. Israel has killed the overwhelming majority of journalists in conflict throughout history at this point in Gaza alone. And the same goes for fucking humanitarian aid workers that are killed. Ultimately, they get to kill whoever the fuck they want. And you can't say a damn thing about it, because if you do say a damn thing about it, you're anti-Semitic. Shut the fuck up. That's it. Hasan doesn't often accept he might be wrong. I don't think he's wrong in this instance, but that's not exactly relevant. That's not correct. I do accept when I'm wrong. Like when I fucking said Russia will never invade Ukraine, and ain't nobody ever let me fucking live that down, okay? So you're wrong. Ironically, I'll give you examples.
They did invade
Another
Ukraine.
thing that I was wrong about, for example, was, dude, fuck, I was thinking about this the other day. I was wrong when I said I don't think the Republicans will actually take away abortion rights, because that would be an unimaginably stupid thing for them to do so, because they would suffer political penalties. I said this years ago, okay? That's a JDAM. What? That part is true? That's a JDAM? You're a fucking idiot. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, exactly. They blew up every fucking hospital. I was completely right on that. You could suck my cock. Yeah, it wasn't a JDAM, but it doesn't matter. They blew up every fucking hospital in the strip. You don't give a shit. You were wrong about Moon Moon and apologize. Yep, that's right. I was wrong.
Wait, what'd you say about Moon Moon?
I defended Goon Goon back in the day against Cutie Cinderella, when Cutie Cinderella was like, ERP is like weird and wrong.
Oh,
and
you
like,
want to
a lot
actually
of people...
talking about that? Because I was doing it.
What?
That's why that topic was hot.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was about. But anyway, but basically, okay, well, she was right about that then too.
What?
She was right about that as well. She was doubly right.
No.
What do you mean? You're single now.
That has nothing to do with it.
Still.
Bro, are you kidding me? No way, bro. You're just like Twitter. Relax, man. No way, dude. No way, bro.
I don't know the details.
Way.
You were wrong about Usopp. I want to apologize. I'm right about Usopp.
What the fuck? Help, chat. Tell me it had nothing to do with it. Stop.
Hasan is a Twitter Andy. I actually don't know what the details are, and I haven't asked you at all.
It's just...
But Cutie was right about Moon Moon, it seems. Anyway. Accept his wrongs and adjust himself hundreds of times a day. That's how his lock predictions come true all the time. Idiots. Yeah, that's the other. Anyway, what else? What else was I wrong about? Give me more. I'm sure there's like other shit that I've been wrong about.
Chat, stop spamming Hipgate. It was fried. It was fried before Hipgate. Trust me.
Wrong about One Piece. That's true. I was wrong about the Korean movement, the 4B feminism movement in Korea, until I found the full scope. Until I found out how insane shit was in Korea in terms of the gender wars.
It's okay to be wrong, by the way. That's the only way you can really improve.
Oh, another thing I was wrong about, the existence of the pro-NATO would-be Trump assassin. I said, historically, I mean, that wasn't as consequential. And that was just mostly me joking, saying that, like, no one is, like, a pro-NATO voter. When I say that, I mean, like, there is not a significant number of voters that could change the outcome of an election. That's a little bit of embellishment, okay? Wrong about farting on airplanes. Not only am I think I invented Ryan Ruth. Anyway, this is Inside Memes. Nick is gonna get bored after talking for hours and hours and hours and learning about so much of the conflict and the genocide in Israel, or genocide that Israel is committing in Gaza. Anyway, yeah, but that was wonderful. I'm glad that you You sat your ass down and you listened.
Oh, I had a great time, brother.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, am I getting kicked out now?
No, not at all.
Oh, no, I've been having a hell, dude. I'm not kidding you. Like, this is really fun for me. I'm not. Also, I was getting a bit overwhelmed at some point, almost to the verge of tears with some of the things you were telling me. It was fucking wild.
Yeah.
I'm actually been quite emotional recently because whatever.
For obvious reasons, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, some of this stuff, like, it's just, I had no idea what was going on. I really didn't. But I'm glad you told me. Your community is so nice and welcoming.
Yeah.
Even though I asked some dumb questions.
Should we go get some clothes now?
I mean, if you really want to, we don't have to.
I do want to. I mean, I think we're doing great.
But you can do whatever you want to do.
This was supposed to be like a light politics day and a fun day overall, and that was my goal overall. But you seemed genuinely interested.
Oh,
so
genuinely, yeah.
If there's anyone that's ever genuinely interested, like I gotta fucking. Your biggest L is gonna be when LeBron gets caught up with Diddy. Wow, that's white supremacy. See, I foster white supremacists. I harbor them in this community. I offer them shelter.
Oh,
it's fucked up. Wishing that LeBron,
Look at this guy. No, I love you.
Wishing that LeBron, the GOAT, James, okay?
The China.
Yeah, you're giving further evidence as to why he's the GOAT. La China, okay? Le Xi Jinping.
Le Balding.
Okay, that part. Bitch, what about you?
My hair's perfect, brother. I'm not losing a piece of hair.
It is actually pretty good.
Not a gray there either.
Your hairline looks pretty good because
I gained 2 inches too.
Did you get to? Did a black barber cut this?
Nope.
Is there any melanin involved?
A white female.
That's crazy.
Who's hot?
She does a pretty good job. Like a pretty decent job with this fade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
She's awesome.
Okay, stop saying Le Zionist. LeBron has not a Zionist. Shut up. I know he can't say that. He's probably really sad about Hasan Nasrallah's passing, like right now. Get locks, Nick. That says Sean the Black.
Oh, there's no way. I don't got it in me.
You were wrong about hating cats. You like coots. That's true. I mean, there are some cats that I like. He's being silenced. I know him personally. Yeah, that's real. I'm LeBron. That's another thing you're usually wrong about. What? This being fun day and also playing video games? Shut up. What else was I gonna fucking... What else was I gonna talk about? There was some other shit that I wanted to tell you or wanted to do. Do you have any other questions? Do you have any further questions? Where's Mr. Arthur?
I mean, if I had to guess, he's probably in bed.
Just sleeping?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, I mean, to be fair, my brain's a little bit fried from all this knowledge. I'm going to try to retain it. I don't know. I'm not going to be preaching anything because I'm not smart enough. I'll send them to you.
Okay.
Good. That said, I'm still going to be taking the McDonald's deals. I need the money.
You do not need the money, motherfucker.
You ever write?
You have so much money. You have 14,000 subs.
You ever write a check for $5 million, Hasan?
No.
And just burn it?
No.
Okay, then.
Tell them about AIPAC and the Jewish death at Rapture. Okay, that's too much. I've given Nick enough tools to develop a more comprehensive understanding of what's going on. And a lot of memes as well. Exclusive. Iran's supreme leader is taken to a secure location. Sources say open mouth emoji.
Yeah. Who's this guy?
This is the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Supreme leader? Isn't that what North Korea has?
I guess they do as well, but this is like a religious guy.
Hmm.
Yeah. Replacing explain like I'm 5 to explain like I'm Nmplol. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna let your brain rest, and by that I mean let's go shopping.
If you want to, we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let me get Arthur, and we can go.
You haven't shown him the grandma has an RPG propaganda cartoon? Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm very sheltered.
We gave him enough. Let
me get Arthur.
Go get Arthur, and let's get ready to rumble. Anyway, here, watch this profile on Hasan Nasrallah while I go pee.
Nasrallah led Hezbollah for 32 years. He was one of the most influential figures in the Middle East and top of the Israeli hit list.
The leader of the terrorist army Hezbollah was killed by Israel Defense Forces in a precise strike in Beirut last night while he was in Hezbollah's central headquarters commanding more imminent attacks against the people of Israel.
And then the immediate response read out on Iranian state TV. Ayatollah Khamenei calling on Muslims to stand by Hezbollah with whatever means they have, confronting, he says, the wicked regime of Israel. But inflicting this wound on Hezbollah meant unleashing hell on a densely populated area of a capital city. We may not know the civilian cost of last night's airstrikes for weeks to come. In their droves, they fled their homes last night, an evacuation en masse, and now the city's streets are littered with loved ones nursing each other's shock. This family has huddled exhausted on this corner since the early hours, not a sound uttered by these children, stunned into silence.
My daughters were terrified from the situation, very scared. Netanyahu is aiming to kill small kids. This little one, look at her and her. They are not ready to see war.
Saturday morning at the Corniche by Beirut Marina, in place of the walkers and weekend runners, an encampment of the displaced, the war-weary, and the odd person checking on the new neighbours. It's not just the residents of Dahaya dealing with the aftermath, but those that race to help them too.
Of course, the situation was so hard. The bombs were like raining everywhere. Of course, it's something hard for the people to be there,
It's hard
trying
for you
to work.
too.
Exactly, to work there and help, and then at the same time be afraid if they're gonna stay alive or not.
But did that go through your mind last night?
I think one of the craziest aspects of this entire story is the fact that October 7 happened as a direct consequence of Israel consistently amping up the pressure and the violence. Okay? And like, what did Israel do? They just escalated it even further since then. And what I'm trying to say is a lot of times people legitimately think, right? And in a lot of instances, people like legitimately think, oh, well, it's not going to happen to us. Like they can't do what we are doing to them. They can't do that back to us. And I find that to be really fucking stupid because October 7 literally is an example of like what Israel does on a regular basis of Palestinians happening to them. Like, what is your expectation? That you're always going to be able to pummel people? They're not going to fucking catch you slipping? Like, they will catch you slipping, okay? And then the question is, how will you feel then? What will you do then? Off topic, but invite that sexy motherfucker Wake Wilder, please, boss. Nah, fuck that guy, dude. I hate being around that guy. He's hotter than me and taller than me. No, I'm kidding. And woker than me. No, I love Wake. I don't know why he didn't show up this morning. I told him to pull up to play ball, but yeah. Do you see what I'm saying, chat? Do you see what I'm saying? Am I stupid, or was October 7 when he said the rescue team rescued the rapist? So how is that the same thing? Wait, what? Am I stupid, or was October 7 when he said he rescued the rapist? What the fuck, bro? Right, normal. I don't even understand what you're saying.
Whether or not you would survive.
If I'm gonna say no, I'm gonna be lying.
Will to come too if he wants.
But for the emergency vehicles, every corner of this sprawling district is now desolate. A district that's a Hezbollah stronghold. This street of Dahia is 3 kilometers from the center, but here too, the smoke rises. The emergency workers shows us part of the rocket that pierced this building and what may have lay beneath. This apartment block, locals have told us, was hit at 3 a.m., but because there would be...
Oh, Will's not banned any longer? Is he still banned? Will is scared? Yeah, he's like, he can't... Will is free, bro. Free Willy.
So many airstrikes by that time,
right now,
it had already been evacuated. Now, we don't know exactly what's hit it, but it appears from looking inside that some form of penetrating bomb has gone deep under the ground, and that's where it's...
October 7 was not planned. I can explain. What? Of course it was. What are you talking about? You think that the entirety of the Palestinian resistance groups from like fucking PFLP, DFLP, all the way to fucking Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Hamas, like launched a fucking like aerial assault even without like planning it. They planned it for fucking like half a decade, dog. It was not only planned, but like Israel got warning multiple times. Israel got warnings multiple fucking times about it potentially happening. They have round-the-clock surveillance. Israel silenced and suppressed like one of the surveillance entities that like was documenting troop activity around the fucking Gaza, like near the Gaza border wall.
It's exploded, and that's where all of this smoke is billowing from now. It's not only the buildings smouldering across this nation. With tensions rising, the Lebanese army have been deployed in fear of not Israel, but civil unrest within these borders, as displaced families took shelter on the steps of Beirut's Blue Mosque.
This is the best Shank take I've ever seen in my life. Brother has the worst take sometimes. Hasan Nasrallah fought the Israeli occupation in the wrong way through violence. The right way is through shame. All Israelis in favor of the awful racist tyrannical occupation of the Palestinians should live in shame for the concentration camp they put the Palestinians in. Yeah, shame doesn't work, bro. What the fuck? Dude, what do you mean? They've been doing genocide for 12 months. Like, have you been paying attention, Uncle Jank? What the fuck? Yeah, dude. We've been naming and shaming Israel. It's not working. Let me tell you, big dog. Also, yeah, they put the, not just any rapist, they put the major rapist, okay? The main rapist. Lolo's response was funny. We'll stop Hitler by calling him out. Third Reich, this ain't it. Yeah, what is this? Really foolish post. Let's enjoy this instead. Check out how brave this Manul samurai looks. Oh, man. Unk take, dude. Unk take. You cannot shame people who have no capacity for shame. Wasn't it like Kwame Ture that said that about America, which is, you know, quite apt for Israel as well, which is an extension of America? Zionists are literally taunting Lebanon now by saying, in Nasrallah's honor, nothing will happen. Shame was not working. Yeah. Is the resentment of these groups just for Israel and not like America? No, they hate America too. Hasan Nasrallah has a famous here. I'll show you guys. I'll leave you off with one of Hasan Nasrallah's most interesting moments. Okay. Does anyone have the link? I'm not gonna be able to find it right now because he just got assassinated. So obviously, fucking, it's gonna be incredibly difficult to find the clip. But not the Kwame clip, the Nasrallah clip. Oh, here. This is the one. Yeah. There's a misconception prevalent in the Arab world regarding Israel-U.S. relations. This is a chatter asked me, like, do they hate America?
Who's they?
Hasan Nasrallah, you know, people in the region. Like, do they think America is responsible for it?
وبنرجع بنعيد وبنرجع بنكاوي وهاي اسمح لي لك اكذوبة اللوبي الصهيوني انه اليهود هن حاكمين امريكا وهن بياخذوا العراق وهن.
He's like, this guy is not exactly a good dude. Okay. You know, listen to him talk about gay people or whatever. You'll understand it. It's not like, I'm not casting a vote for Hasan Nasrallah. Okay? Let me just tell you. Having said that, however, it is pretty funny to have a dude like this, I mean, who is very well educated regardless, make a statement about how, like, how silly it is to assume that, like, they keep repeating that the Zionist lobby, that the Jews rule America and real decision makers are so on. No, America itself is the decision maker. In America, you have the major corporations, you have the Trinity, the oil companies, the weapons industry, and the so-called Christian Zionism. The decision making is in the hands of this alliance. Israel used to be a tool at the hands of the British, and now it is a tool in the hands of America. That's it. It's quite simple. That's it. Noam Chomsky base take. Yeah, he's a Noam Chomsky style figure here. Okay, he's coming across. Yeah, he ate here, and you can't deny it. Okay, but if you want to understand like the way that people see it, there's a reason why it's not just the Israeli flag that they burn in these rallies. It's always next to the American flag that they burn at these rallies. All right, fun day is starting now. Yeah, what does that tell you when fucking Hasan Nasrallah, the General Secretary of Hezbollah in Lebanon, is like, man, these anti-Semitic conspiracies are a bridge too far for me. You need to dial it back, please. And then you got like American Nazis being like, nah, dude, you don't understand. What's up? What happened?
Nothing, you just dropped something.
Oh. Syrians would disagree with most American leftists about Nasrallah. What? About Nasrallah? What do you mean? About this take in particular? Or what? How about Hasan Nasrallah's take on the top of the hour ad break? How about that? Would you agree or disagree with that? Because he said at the top of the hour, there is a 3-minute ad break. Okay? And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. That's what he said. And he was right about that too. The reason why I don't spend a lot of time on like what Hezbollah did in Syria or whatever is not because like I hate Syrians or some shit like that. It's because all of that stuff, all of his, all of Hezbollah's militant actions in Syria or even its domestic affairs in Lebanon are completely inconsequential to why he was killed. He did not get killed for Syria. He did not get killed for, being a homophobe. He got killed because he was in charge of the largest anti-Israel militant fighting force that had successfully purged Israel from Lebanese soil in the past. That's it. And Westerners love doing this fucking thing where they'll be like, excuse me, I'll have you know, oh, you think it's fine that the Ansar Allah movement is like blocking the fucking Red Sea? I wasn't talking about your take. I was talking about the Twitter leftists who claim Nasrallah is like the Lenin of the Middle East. I mean, he is a little bit, he's a weird guy, okay? He does have some weird socialist-ass takes, but that's besides the point. Listen, the reason why I don't fucking cover or place a lot of emphasis on this is because all of that stuff is brought up specifically to justify death and destruction to not just Hasan Nasrallah, okay? Not just to Hasan Nasrallah. It is to justify death and destruction to all the Lebanese people that were in the vicinity, okay? That's it. What are you laughing about? Oh, I just love politics so much, and I forgot to run the 3-minute ad break.
I miss watching you thrive, brother.
Okay,
I miss watching you thrive.
Let's do it.
I'm just enjoying watching you in your habitat, man.
Okay, are we ready to go? We're gonna flip the camera.
Go to Nick Pack.
Let's see if